might want to do
legato and connected.
Totally. So when you want to do that, how do you do that? Beautiful. Already on it.
Going through the string.
Pluck through the string. Exactly. Now that's not all the time, but when you're walking, that's all the time. Except for very, very certain circumstances.
And I feel like that's a lot easier on upright. When I play upright, I feel like it's a lot easier than playing electric, for me at least, because I can feel where it is more because the strings are so close together on here.
Oh, yeah.
And when I'm picking on an upright, it's just a lot easier to feel where the strings are. And it's not exact. You just have to be close enough to the sound most of the time.
Your ear dictates the rest usually. Yeah, good point. Yeah, so when we're playing legato too, and we're plugging through the strings, that works in conjunction with the left hand, right? Connecting those notes. We're gonna play them connected. So if you lift up those fingers, just play this for me. Yeah, play that. So how much in your thumb? How much do you feel like you're pushing against the back?
Pretty
Not
hard.
at all. Pretty hard. How about none at all?
Like barely touching it.
Like. That already honestly looks a bit better. So when I have to do that without the thumb, and if I do it with the thumb, notice the arc that I have here. There's a lot more distance between the back of my hand and the side of the fingerboard, or the neck that is. When I do like this, because I'm trying to make room for that thumb and keep my fingers curved and everything like that. But I'm using very, very little pressure in my thumb. The strings on the electric bass are really easy to depress. It's not like upright where you really have to get like a lot of weight on it, depending on the instrument. But anything that I'm doing here, I should be able to get away with not using my thumb. So by doing that, just try that out. By doing that, you're pulling back your fingertips back towards your body, and you're using the larger muscle, like whatever the weight of your arm is coming this way as opposed to squeezing. Cool. So that's for sure something I would like to be able to hear you do very clearly and without much struggle. This is kind of a little, it's like they're gradations. Like if I was playing this up here, there's not much distance between the frets, right? So it's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
When you get down here, obviously you need to expand your hand a little bit and make it work. But I like that you're keeping all those fingers down as you move up. And eventually just down here to where it's super solid. Like all the time. That said, those are just little technical things, you know what I mean? If you can do that well, you'll be able to play the bass a little bit better. So I think it'll help. Let's talk about your music, because we haven't talked much about playing, and I already played a lot of this stuff. So do you want to start with All Right Okay?
That one I have pretty good.
Let me hear pretty good then. Let's see what that's feeling like.
I'm used to playing this on upright.
When you're at home practicing this, how do you? Oh, you play this on upright.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel comfortable playing this on electric?
Not really.
Have you ever done it on electric?
When I first got it for like the first 2 practices, but then they switched me to upright.
Okay, gotcha. Well, it's a walking bass line, right? Obviously, and they don't have any chord changes here for you, so you're beholden to the bass line that they wrote out for you, which is always fun.
Yeah, it's pretty repetitive though, so it's not super hard.
The good thing about repetitive is that we focus, like the hierarchy against sound.
Yeah, we can focus on more technical stuff.
Yeah,
making it sound better.
Right.
As opposed to getting the notes out.
I was gonna say the word feel, but yeah, sound and feel, they'll go together, so making the groove really happen. When you practice this, do you practice this with any metronome or any drum loop or anything like that? And it's just a question, it doesn't really matter.
Not really, because I only practice it when I'm at school, because the upright, but
I see.
I don't have an upright at home.
Okay.
So, but we have something called ACT Lab in the middle. We had block scheduling, so our classes are an hour and a half. And we have ACT Lab, which is like advisory in the middle of the day. It's only on B days, but on my B days, I'm in the music hall all day because I have choir, then concert band, then ACT Lab, who is my ACT Lab teacher is my band teacher, and then jazz band.
Oh.
So right before jazz band, I can practice for an hour and a half on whatever I want to.
I love it. That's it. I wish I had that kind of built-in time to my day. That would be fantastic. Well, let's just hear how this sounds, okay? And this will show me, you've read through this a number of times already. You're not sight reading this. Okay, let's just put it right here. Maybe right there. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to slow it down a little bit? Or?
Hold on, I think I just need to work through it for a second.
Sure. You go down to a B flat, so E flat C, B flat E. Yeah.
This part on an upright,
Okay.
or on an electric.
So just to get started, the disconnect between the notes, like the space that's happening, is very unstylistic to like a swing tune.
Yeah.
So that's where the connected and legato notes would really come in handy. So how does that work? Right? To go from here, clearly I can't really reach that. But what you do is you leave the note down as long as you can. Try to catch up to that C. Much better. Yeah, let's just think about like the first bar. You don't even need to read anything. Let's see if we can play this. Oh, sure. Second. It's much better with the connectedness. Let's think about the time and the feel now. So if it was like here. One, two, three, four. Good. Try to connect. Can you go to your pinky on that C that's on the G string instead of going up to your third? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is your ring finger.
Yeah.
You've got more distance between your first and your fourth than you do your first and your third. Although it's not much. There are other options. So when you find yourself playing in areas where it's maybe you're having to stretch a little bit more than you're comfortable with, perhaps rethink where you're playing this on the instrument, because you could always do without a shift at all. If you're playing this on electric.
Yeah.
If you were doing that on upright, it might be another story. But watch, I can play this bass line. Without even a shift. For how long? Shift. But not until there. You know what I mean? So, how about here? And this will help to just familiarize us even further with the notes that are in this part of the neck too. So find the E flat that's on the A string, and find a C that's on the G string, same C. A B flat that's on the D string with your pinky.
Is that here?
Yep. And then take a half step above E flat with your E. That's right there. And that's without a shift. Now you don't want it to be voiced like a chord. Like you don't want all of that unless it's intentional. You know what I mean? So you do want to have a break between the notes.
But then I have to go to the lower B flat.
Cool.
So that'd be.
Yeah, it's right down there. Yeah. Cool. So now when you find yourself down on that B flat, instead of picking it up and going to the next string like this, roll into it so you can connect it. Does that make sense? Yeah, keep doing that. Just loop that. Connect it. And also hearing that fret noise, so you're not lifting up your fingers too high, okay? Is that with your pinky right there?
Yeah.
Okay. get you the next note, whatever it is. So it seems like it's happening every time. So only lift up that pinky when you get to the next one. It's a bit like, yeah, exactly.
I'm not pushing this down fast enough.
Is that right?
Yeah, because it kind of like.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It looks like it should be working, but it's not working. So it's just a matter of getting in there and perhaps just repetition in this area. But I would definitely recommend just getting as comfortable as you can with everything in this area in each of these positions. So if you play second finger on E flat, you can just play the E flat major scale, just like this, right? Yeah, so that needs a lot of work still, because I'm still hearing a lot of the fret noise. I'm kind of exaggerating and not quite getting it the same way that you're doing it, but and if I go slow, that's more of the sound that we're trying to get in here. And below the scale too, because obviously we're not always playing just from root to root. So you want to think about what all the notes that are in this area that are inside of this position without even a shift. Do you know what I mean? Because that'll get you through quite a lot of bass line. So play that E flat major scale again, up and down. Yeah, it's primarily in your pinky. Good. Now go down with your first finger and play D without a shift. No. So don't cross any of the lines. But play this note. That's D. It's the 7th degree of that same E flat major scale. So go from D to E flat. That's a very effective and very common way to get back to E flat. So you'll need that. In this bass line, it's written as an E natural going to E flat, which I'm not a huge fan of. That D would sound better to my ears, but knowing that that's there for when it's time for you to create or alter your bass lines the way you want or the way I would want, that's good to know. So here's that E flat with your second finger again, right? Go down to D with your first. Now with your pinky, so just staying in the same shape, go down to where your pinky would go on the E string. That's a C. Can you play that C? And then second finger will get you B flat. Back on the E string now. Right, that's the 5-1. B flat to E flat. Yeah. So we need to strengthen this finger, this pinky finger for sure. So an idea for that, there's always these repetition. Because as I'm seeing you go here between, especially your third finger and your fourth finger, I'm hearing that not connected end note. Can you play this? Just go from your first finger to your second finger, back and forth. I'm starting on C, the 5th fret on the G string. Just go back and forth and try to connect them as much as possible. On top of that, and it's a whole other level, yeah, you want to keep going for sure. What about are all the notes the same volume? Do they sound the same? Do you know what I mean? That's the next level thing that you want to incorporate. And again, this goes for any genre of music you're playing. You want to have that kind of control, whether you're swinging Sammy Nestico or playing anything really. So if you're playing Pink Floyd, you got to think about your dynamics too. It's like music. There you go, to pinky. So now right here, it seems like you're probably squeezing the crap out of her neck right there. It looks like it to me at least.
Not really. I think it's just because my thumb bends back a lot. It's like I'm.
Okay.
But there's not a lot of pressure on it right now.
Okay. I would just think with your pinky, think about the weight coming back towards your arm, towards your body versus the thumb. Good. The only other thing I would recommend while you're working on that is to keep your fingers, it's hard, keep them all as low as possible. That's what I'm saying.
upright.
Yeah, I get the same, like, a little bit more attack or percussive versus the thump. Yeah. So now go between your second and your third. Oh, sorry. See your second finger right there? You see how your fingers are kind of coming off the neck, too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we definitely don't want that, if we can. Second to four. About 3 to 4. Is it pressure or is it placement?
I think it's placement.
Okay.
I think it was from my third. I had it more towards the middle.
Okay. Get in there. Still getting a little bit of buzz there, but it's much better. That's improved for sure. So you want to take that type of practice. And make it as smooth and legato as possible. Again, that emulates the sound. If we're talking about swing, that's emulating the sound of the ride cymbal. So keeping those nice long notes. Cool? Alright, so let's just hear you play through this again. I just wanted to check in with that sound idea. I imagine when you're playing in band, you guys don't stop.
No.
Or y'all don't stop when we're doing this, right?
Yeah.
So
We only ever stop if the wind's himself.
is that right?
Yeah. Mr. Middleton expects rhythm to have everything down and perfect. He expects us to like correct ourselves. So he
Cool.
only ever works with the winds.
Okay. That works. That sounds the right kind of shuffle I'm looking for. Let's just say it's here. Roughly this tempo?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So let's play through this together. You ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this sucker sure is repetitive. Let's pick it up from here. Are you at a place where you can see this comfortably? Move it wherever you need.
I don't really know that part on this part of the neck. I'm used to playing
Play
it.
where you're comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah, but I want you now, instead of thinking about like the sound things that we were just focusing on a little bit more, I want to feel your pulse. Do you know what I mean? Like feel the time that you're, or your, the feel of this walking bass on against this one field. Okay?
Mr. Middleton told us that he wants me to emphasize like those steps where it repeats.
Well, you should do what your band director says.
Mm.
In reality, I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, you should totally do what Mr. Middleton says. Though. Okay. Oh, and listen to the recording and see if you hear that. Okay, that's really where it's at. Okay. So let's pick it up from 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can play this wherever you're comfortable. Like wherever you play this. Okay, so try this without looking at the neck now.
Okay.
You're alright. You
Yeah.
have to have a little trust. I mean, do you play the bass every day?
Not every day, because I don't have band every day.
You have a job?
No.
Why aren't you playing bass every day? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I try to, but
Just give me a hard time, dude. It's all
most
good.
days I do.
It's all good. So
She's
all I mean is
overbooked.
like just play this bass line. But don't look at it.
This
No,
isn't-
just
this
play
isn't-
this.
Yeah.
No. Just play this. Just this. Just don't look at it. Just E flat C, B flat E. But don't look at that. Good. Now can you clean it up in any way? Like clean up the sound? Try going to that C with your pinky. Do you know where the notes are?
Yeah.
More or less. It's like upright. I mean, you're not looking at the neck on the upright.
Well, because on upright, it's not like a specific spot. It just has to sound right.
It's more specific to me because I could play a C. I mean, granted, the placement is not, you know, perfect, but that's a C. That's a C, and on upright, that would be a vast difference. I mean, it's like it's within a half step. Do you know what I mean? But that would be out of tune if I played this C right here.
I don't know. It's just easier for me to find notes on the upright.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier for them to be in tune with the electric because you've got the frets right there. Those fingers are there. But yeah, I feel that. But trust. And if you mess up, it's just us here. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal. But the better or the more comfortable you get with just kind of knowing, you know, like kind of having an idea of where things lay, especially. I mean, think about like somebody like Ray Charles never like visually seeing a piano or Stevie Wonder, or maybe like minimal like vision. Do you know what I mean? But they can play all that. If they can do that, we can do that on the electric bass. You know what I mean? So, all right, let's pick it up and just have a little bit of authority over it. If any mistakes happen, it's all good. Let's just keep trucking through until the winds make a mistake, right? Is that the thing? Okay. So if the winds mess up, then we can stop. You good? How about from 5 again? Can you count us in?
1, 2, 1,
Good.
2, 3.
Alright, so this is a G natural.
Yeah.
So E flat. You could use your open G as well. That's what I was doing. So the least amount that we need to move our hand, that's really where it's at, and that'll just come with experience and practice and stuff like that. So how about from here? 1, 2, 3, go. Open hand. Good. Here's 17. Same bass line right here, right? So not any surprises there. We just gotta get more comfortable with that. Okay. Yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah, the walk up to this. Yep. So there's what happens in these breaks here. Horns, drums.
Yeah, horns go like.
Nice. Excellent. I would love to hear you do that. I should. Like that sounds just like us. No, just kidding. Cool. Yeah. So those breaks. Let's talk about like how I heard you hit this. Play from 29. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That was authoritative. Okay. But like that. Yeah. So what I really enjoyed about what you just did was how confident you sounded when you were playing that. If you played like that, like this especially here, if you just rock that. If you did that with this, I mean, that'd be incredible. You know what I mean? And I just heard you do it, so I know you can now. So you're kind of in trouble. You have to make everything sound as authoritative as that. And it's just strong, you know what I mean? us as bass players, we're like you already know, we're the foundation of the band. And if anything is weak in the foundation, what happens? Everything falls apart, right? So, you picked it. You're playing bass. You gotta own it, okay? So just pick this back up. From 29, 2, 3, 4. Uh-huh. Triple it, triple it. Triple it, triple it. 1. So that would be, okay, hold on. So this is what I was talking about. 1. Yeah, just pull that second note back. Yeah, it doesn't need an accent necessarily, unless the whole band is doing that. But yeah, play that again.
Kind of like dotted eighth note.
Yeah, it's just like it's a shuffle. I mean, this was written as a shuffle. So at the very least, think you triplets and perhaps a little even further back in the beats. But that's meant to be like done together with the band. Clearly, you're not the only one playing this, probably, right? Yeah. Right. So, how about from here? 2, 1, dos, tres, go. 1, 2, 4. So this is on beat 2 and beat 4. 1, 2, da, da. So for me, I think about. Do you keep a pencil in your folder? You'll take it right down there. A little purple one taken out inside. So thank you. And I'm not going to mark much on this, but I just wanted to show you how I think about like reading rhythms like this. Is I usually divide the bars in 2, especially when I'm getting into something fast. So like it's really easy for me to see 2 beats versus 4. And so if I'm looking at this 1 and 2, well, that's a half rest, so I know that's all 2 beats. And usually I'm tapping my foot on 2 and 4 when I'm playing. So if I'm thinking in those terms, I'm thinking like upbeats. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. You know what I mean? So that helps me with dividing the bar. So again here, if that's 1, 2, sure this ties over across, right? But this is just beats 2 and 4. So I think of dividing it right there. Same thing here. You got 2 beats, 1, 2, so that's got to be 3 and 4. And they're much easier rhythms when you see them that way. There's 2 quarter notes, a quarter note, an 8th rest, and an 8th note. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just seeing this rhythm, da, da, there's nothing to it. Da,
29 to 37, that whole section, I haven't really been counting that part. It's just been feel because there's other people like the Barry sax is playing it, the tenors are playing it, trombones are playing it. So I just
do you lean on them to get it right?
No, it's more of like a feel thing. I mean, I know that I'm right if I match up with them, but
what if they're doing that to you? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what if they're just like, all right, whatever she does, I'm gonna go with that, and you're doing that too? Then everything is kind of like, you know. And again, it just goes to be like the confidence you have to, and oftentimes you double stuff like this with baritones and baritons and stuff like that. But let's play it accurate. You know, why not? You know, especially if we're working on it. So let's loop this now. Now I need to hear it perfect. So from 29, all right? So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, go. Okay. So this is the end 3, right? If I'm tapping, is my foot tapping on 2 and 4 throwing you off at all?
No. I think I just forgot to count.
Well, there's that. Don't forget this step. 1, 2, 29, 1, 2, 3, go. Better. 1, 2, 4, 1. Yeah, so let's hit this measure. So from here, let's just sing the rhythm. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Da da. 3, 4. Da da da. Da da. Ba 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 da. 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 da. Da 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 da. Yeah, there is an accent here. Clap this rhythm for me from right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. that was 2. So on beat 2 is when you're gonna hit the C. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you tap your foot like I'm doing it now? Great. Do the same thing. Keep the foot going while you do it. When you hit this measure, you're gonna clap right when your foot taps. As long as you don't change where your foot's happening. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, clap. Go. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Da, da. Good. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, go. 1. Cool. Your foot dropped off, but that's okay. Let's play it. Do the pickup into this. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay. 1. Rest. Okay, so that's a B natural.
Yeah.
Yep. 2, 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, so you're reading the notes at the top?
Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, I remember doing the exact same thing, writing out all the names of the notes, and then, you know, the rhythms start to suffer, or the octave suffers, because obviously there's an octave difference between these two B flats.
I usually don't play those until I have it like completely down, like the rhythms and the feel.
What do you have completely down before you play the rhythms and the feel? You mean the pitches?
Yeah,
Oh,
like the
okay.
octave jumps.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, you don't necessarily need to do the octave jump, but if it's written that way, let me just play this for you, and then I want you to play it back the way that you hear it. Okay? So I'm going to start from that A flat. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Down. Play it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down. 1. Now just you. 1, 2, 3, go. 1. Good. Much better. Try to catch that octave if you can. Try to lay back inside of this rhythm right here. Yeah. Much better though. 2, 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, cool. Let's go on. You need to keep working on that still, but. So this is the part of the bad analogy time, is that you're ironing a shirt. Do you ever iron? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what it is.
You've experienced somebody ironing something for you, or just seeing somebody do it. So right now, when we continue to play over this, and we're not really working on that, we know where the notes are, and it feels good in the time. Think about the note length and stuff like that. But basically, we're ironing the same spot over and over. There's a real big wrinkle right here, and right back over here where the same bass line happens, and it's probably going to come up again, I would assume, given the repetitiveness of this bass line. But the point is that we need to iron this sucker out, just like we ironed this out. So once we get this together, there's no stopping it. So where are you playing this E flat? You're playing it down here, aren't you?
Yeah.
Great. So let's just figure out how we're going to get these two bars from this E flat to this A flat, fingering wise. So I would suggest doing E flat first finger 2 times. I would probably just play pinky on F, and then open G to A flat. The next one is an F, isn't it? So pinky, that's same, or third finger if you like. That's the note you played earlier in this part, right? So just use the same fingering. So first finger on A flat, F, the pinky or your third, it's fine. E flat, open A, down to A flat. Using that open A, it works kind of as a bridge. It gives you a split second to move your finger over. Yeah, and you have to stop that with your pinky, I would really suggest getting comfortable, way more comfortable with your pinky. And if you're playing upright, I'm just already going to assume that you're putting third finger in the lower registers. Shouldn't be doing that. Have you ever done this here? Do you know which finger is your weakest finger? Talk about this? No? Let's do it. This is fun. So yeah, you just put it on the side of your neck, back of your face, whatever you like. Put your fingers like this. Yeah, they're curved. And your hand a little bit lower, maybe just lift up your index finger as high as you can. That's as high as you can go? Okay, I'm not judging, I'm just kidding. Put it back down, do the same thing with your pinky. Okay, cool. That's as high as you can go? Cool. Put it back down. Middle finger. Cool. Yeah. Ring finger.
Ring finger's the weakest.
Yeah. It's really easy to see when you do like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you just, if you just plop down with your hand, I don't know if I put mine down, and everybody's hands are different, but usually the third and the fourth finger, or the middle finger and the ring finger, rather, are a little bit more closely, they're just like closer together if you let it hang naturally. Maybe not always, but anyways, they share tendons in here, so classical piano players, violinists, they all know this, upright bass players know this. The third finger is the weakest finger. It's sharing a tendon here. But oftentimes people think the pinky is the weakest, but that's just in our heads too. And so that's why I see a lot of bass players on electric that are, just getting started or maybe just been playing a little while, use their ring finger because they think their pinky is the weakest. Now you know it's not, right? And you already know that you can play, and you've been playing with your weakest finger now a bunch, so you know the ring finger's not, or the ring finger's not as weak as we might think. So. Just gotta build that up, do you know what I mean? So, that being said, the pinky could be underdeveloped, do you know what I mean? We might need to play that more, so. Okay, so let me hear from here, all the way down to this A flat. Just in roughly that same tempo. Good. Now just again. No, the same spot from here. Cool. So now check this out. So I'm not looking at that music at all anymore. Do you know what I mean? That's another big factor towards reading music. Is as soon as I get something in front of me, I'm like trying to memorize it or understand the pattern of it. Do you know what I mean? And this comes with experience and age and stuff like that. But it's kind of like, when you read and you come across the words the or of or the sight words, you don't need to think about it. You just say them when you're speaking out loud, or even if you're reading, you don't sound them out. Do you know what I mean? Right now, you're sounding out each of the letters in the word or the sounds of each of the words. Do you know what I mean? So we want to get just repetitive. How did you learn to gloss over those words like the and of? It's through reading a lot, I imagine, right? So same kind of thing.
I really try to memorize walking bass lines. Walking bass lines are the hardest thing for me to do. I don't know why. It's just, even if it's repetitive like this, they're just hard for me to do rather than like a pattern.
Sure, yeah.
But, so I try to memorize them so that I can focus on playing and not reading.
Yeah. When you get away from that, having to use your eyes to read what's happening, because there's an extra step, do you know what I mean? From taking it off the page, looking, deciphering it, and then getting the brain signals down to your fingers to make the notes work. Whereas if you just know what's supposed to happen next, you're gonna be that much faster with everything. Do you know what I mean? And it's gonna feel better. It's just gonna sound better in general. So yes, I would recommend that you memorize this, or at least be familiar enough with it to where you don't need to look like all of the time. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, just repetition, and find chunks instead of trying to play the whole thing from top to bottom all the time. Bite off like this much, like what we've been doing. You don't need to just play that much for me. Take these smaller bites and just thoroughly chew them up. Play from here to here for me. See, already you're away from the page. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, do it again. here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Okay. Again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's feeling better. Now see if we can connect some of those notes. We don't need any of that. There goes the space line, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, where's that one spot that's giving you that every time? Okay, I'll pay better attention this time. I'm trying to think about your feel, and it feels good to me. Do you know like where you're putting the quarter notes right now, and the attack that you're doing? It's making like a drummer would want to play with that. Mm-hmm. That's what we need, even before we get involved in these notes, the pitches. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's gotta swing music. That goes with any other bass line too. If it's like a straight eighth feel or a funk feel or whatever like that, the pitches are less important than the rhythm. We're basically playing a rhythm. It's a rhythm section instrument. Mm-hmm. It's like a drum. You know what I mean? If you're playing the drum at a time, but you're getting all the notes right, nobody cares. You know? Mm-hmm. So it's got to feel good. Play that much again for me. I'll pay attention to where the issue is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, there's no problem there. Boom, dee da do do, be da do boo, be da. Boo 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 da dee do da do do. Play that much for me. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 chord right there, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. So what's the hang up here?
I don't know. I think I just forgot where I was going.
Now you're thinking about the notes, like thinking about the order of the notes, yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's okay. So does that feel like a really big distance?
Kinda.
Can you just play E flat to C? Okay, can you do this? Can you shoot a little bit further? Can you get right to the fret metal? Good, just keep iron out that wrinkle, because that's giving you a problem all the time. But you're also not really hitting it with your fingertip. You're kind of attacking it like this. So you don't have the ideal pressure when you do it like it can work. Oftentimes it will. I do it like this mainly because my hands are strong from playing upright, because I play upright all the time. But that's what you need. Cool. Yeah, just make that a loop. Okay, yeah, but it's part of that focus and that ironing out the crease, you know what I mean? That's really where it's at. So the better you get with that, the better you're going to get all throughout the rest of this piece. So we focused a lot on this so far today, but it's really highlighting some things I think we could work on, do you know what I mean? So I think this was really important to get into, but I also don't want to neglect if there's any other pieces that you want to talk about.
The other pieces are a lot harder than this one.
Harder than this one?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't mean that. I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm just saying that
this one I have. This one's slow and easy.
Okay.
But this one, it's It's repetitive, like Alright Okay You Win. It's just really fast and
Okay.
long. I think it's just the same pattern the whole way through. So once I get that, I can.
Let's check it out. Oh, and you get a page turn?
Yeah.
What are they thinking? There's not even a rest there. That's crazy.
We took out this whole section though, from
Really?
132 to 131.
You just take out these back 2 pages. You even have to turn the page. I hate when people do that. Like, they're supposed to just turn like this and then you gotta do it again.
Yeah.
It takes 2 hands to play the bass. Copyists don't know that, I guess. Anyways, just venting at you and got nothing to do with you. So, funk halftime feel.
This one I've only looked at twice because I just got it.
So when they say halftime feel, do you hear how I'm like counting this? I'm thinking of it as like in halftime, like how when we're swinging, I'm thinking 2 and 4 in my foot. I flip that when I think about a groove-oriented thing. I think about 1 and 3. Not that the 2 and 4, the backbeats aren't important. Exactly. Especially if they're talking about a halftime feel. Because now I'm really getting in and thinking about where my 2 beats are. This is a big thing for me. So like inside of this, I can see 2, that makes it 3. And also I can just see in the back end of the bar, that's the and, right? But in a halftime feel, we're not going like 1, 2, 3, 4, and not thinking about that. We're thinking 1, it's almost like all these 8th notes are 16ths now. And all the quarter notes are 8ths. So like a rhythm like, what's that?
I hate cut time.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why they can't just write everything half.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a lot. I guess it'd be a lot more stems and bars and stuff. I don't know. Anyways, but this rhythm, once we get used to what it looks like, I don't think it's gonna be a huge deal. Let's just start because I'm seeing a lot of this rhythm, and
yeah. It's just that rhythm the whole way through.
Cool. So once we get that, then we're good. Let's talk about just clapping this rhythm right here. Okay, and we'll go back and check out these other ones in a minute here. But to me, this is 2 8th notes to 4 16ths and a bar of 2 4. Like this, 1 and but really, if you're thinking all 4 quarter notes, right? I'm there. So let's think about it like it's a 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and yeah. That's all it is. So these are 8th notes, and they're still inside of the 1, 2 beats. This is the back end of the beat. Remember, we're going to put that line down the middle. So to me, these are 8th notes on beat 2. True, I know, but so 1 and 2 and 1 and if we're just looping those 2 bars, exactly. You do that again. 1 and 2 and clap it for me. Clap this rhythm for me. 1. Great. So now, put that on the instrument. Once we know what the rhythm is, I think that's what he's indicating there. It's hard to tell if that's one that should go up. To my ear, it should go down. And I mean like that versus that. That sounds a little bit more like rock. This sounds a little bit more like bird. It's got the blues. Yeah. And I'm talking about this note where he's hitting the A.
The trill.
Yeah, the trill. So I might just ask, or if you're doing that in unison with anybody, that would be a consideration too.
I think I'm the only one playing this.
Awesome. You get to play it how you want to. Bonus. So let's get these 2 bars together. And let's not worry about the trill just yet. Just play it as if that was not even
I think
there.
Barry and Bassbone are playing like harmony of this, but I think I'm the only one playing this part specifically.
Oh, okay. Then you get to own it. Nice. 1 and 2.
I like barely looked at this.
Okay. So I can tell in my peripheral vision that your hand is moving around a lot. It really doesn't need to be. That's the But I've been doing my show from the A flat. I think it sounds better already, but Baylock might have a problem with that. I don't know. Do you have the notes, the pitches together yet? Here. Yeah, so let's talk about that. It's okay, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. The bigger thing is stuff like that. I guess they are staccato, right? Or they're written staccato, but the first two are longer. That's that second bar. The holdover from the last. E flat to F. Yeah. It seems like you want to do a shift every time you go from 1 to 3, and it seems like your thumb coming over the neck, which is stopping you from having this mobility.
I didn't even know my thumb was on.
It's barely doing it, but I mean, I'm sure you can see in the video back that it's doing something like this. So if you're doing this, then yeah, it's going to be awkward to shift and have all this resistance. Like, because when you do that, you have the back of your hand up against the neck, and to me, that just slows everything down. So I'm trying to do like this.
I just call myself doing it.
Yeah, see,
Because I have to like get my arm all the way down there.
that's
It's
one of the
easier
reasons.
to get
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. That's it. It goes FC. So play that F for me, just the first F, no, the one low, and look at your hand now. So you've got like 0 options when you do that. If you start from this position, you have to do a shift. Do you know what I mean? And it's really not worth it to play like that. You just open up your hand a bit more, get your thumb behind the neck. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot harder.
It is. Now, what if you try playing pinky up here instead of reaching with your third? For me, this would be tricky. The way you're playing it right now, that feels funny to me. I mean, that just feels weird. And because my weak finger has got so much weight to it. For me, I block everything off first finger to fourth finger, just like I would on upright. I go like this. Get that block. This to me, I mean, maybe if I was playing guitar and do like power chords or something, that would be different. But to me, it doesn't work on bass. So try 1 to 4. And then when you get up to that A, all of your other fingers fall.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not trying to frustrate you with it, but you're going like this. And then all of a sudden, you've got nobody on deck. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So just think about
I just have it all like sectioned off like this because the way that I learned from a book, and that's how it's
1 finger
to
per
do.
fret. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's fine. And that can be utilized for sure, especially in higher areas. Like earlier when we were talking about chromatic scale.
It's just
But down at first, down here, this is like the lowest position that you're gonna fret all of these notes. I mean, if you were in E, it'd almost be easier. Because you've got the open strings. But since it's an F, you gotta make that work. If it was like up here, you could do the 1 finger per fret thing idea. Or even like this. situational, like where you're at really plays a big factor.
Mhm.
So I would recommend going 1 to 4.
Yeah.
Are these ducks on your socks?
Yeah, yeah.
Come on now.
Rubber ducks.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. So, what I would like to see you do, and a way to make this feel better is, find the recording of this, perhaps just to get the tempo in mind.
We
You
have
can play along with it.
recordings of all our songs posted on like Google Classroom.
Do you have a way to play them back slower or slow them down?
No.
No? I have a program called Transcribe, and there's something called the Amazing Slow Downer. I don't know if you've checked this out at all, but people use it for transcribing. Like if you're trying to learn a John Coltrane solo and he's playing like a million notes at once, you need to slow it down so you can hear them. But you can also do the same thing with like feels. So if you have this song downloaded, or even if it's up on YouTube, you can slow it down and play along with it. Just go back to the playback speed and slow them down. Not that you can't do it at the preferred speed, you know what I mean? But by slowing it down, you hear more of the groove-oriented stuff because there's just more time to have it come through.
And I'm sure if I looked up this song with the composer's name attached to it, I could find it on YouTube and slow it down.
Probably. I got the squeakiest chair ever here. Thanks for not making me feel weird about it. It's a very squeaky chair. We got to go pretty soon, but let me just look this up and see. No, I don't need YouTube Red. Thank you. Oh. Definitely. Wait, this is an Iron Maiden song? No, that's 2 minutes to midnight, not 2 seconds to midnight.
I would look up Baylock with it.
Yeah, this is them playing it. This is the Alan Baylock Orchestra right here.
Get 50% off all Domino's online pizza orders at menu price this week
There it
only,
is.
which includes right now.
That looks good.
Mr. Brennanfield. Well,
Which one is this? Anyways. So immediately, I have so much more information. Hear it in there. So if you have any question about how that should sound, it's right here. You know what I mean? Where's my? I might not be able to do it on the iPad. Do you see playback? So say I'm not feeling it. Let's get to hear it as part of the bass line. Trombones. It's a lot easier. I mean, and I think a little bit more interesting to hear recordings, try to associate them with whatever it is you're learning.
This song is relies on the bass a lot. You probably heard it.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah. It's funk basically. It's a little weird funk, but yeah, bass is going to be super prevalent in the funk. There's no way around it. So, but I would suggest doing that for sure. Slow the sucker down. There's nothing wrong with it. They don't care. Look how happy they are. You know? but you can get a lot of information out of the recordings, and that goes for any of these. There's definitely all of these songs are on YouTube. That song has 84,000 views for whatever, like because people are going. Nobody's just like home laying like, yeah, 2 Seconds of Midnight. I like this song. You know what I mean?
Some people are.
Yeah. All right. No judgment. No
No,
judgment.
I know multiple.
No, it's
kids in
okay
my
if you are.
jazz
It's okay
class.
if you
There's multiple kids in my jazz class that go home and just listen to it
That's
over and over again, and they like. We have jazz listening log,
Okay.
and you like send in songs and we listen to it and like analyze them at the beginning of class.
Okay.
So there's a lot of kids in my jazz class that just listen to jazz. That's like all they listen to.
Well, cool. I mean, there is no better way to understand how it's supposed to feel and sound than listening to you. Do you know?
Well, yeah, and my jazz class is full of jazz people because I'm in the highest jazz band. So it's just like all experts in there. And then I'm like,
They do sound good.
Cool.
yeah,
Good band.
it's not really good.
Cool. So ask them for help. Ask them for advice. If you have, it sounds like you have a wealth of, opportunities
Yeah.
to get
Well,
advice.
the
and
other
suggestions.
bass player, he's a senior, but he doesn't talk a lot.
Mhm.
So, like when he does give me help, it's just kind of like, that was good. Do that again.
Does he like candy? Does he like soda? Does he like crackers or something?
I don't know.
Bring the cat some food or like tempt them. You know what I mean? Like open up here. Pokemon cards. Here's a Pikachu. Like tell me what's up. Teach me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's really. It's this is not solo music. It's not like piano solo music. It's just like all on the piano. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is communal. Like it's community. Like you have to play this music with other people. So. Those relationships and understanding, like, oh, are you friends with the Barry sax player or the bass
kinda.
trombone player? Because
No.
y'all are playing a lot of stuff together.
Yeah.
Might be cool to talk about it,
Yeah.
play it together, and at the same token, like getting together with the drummer, like playing with the drummer.
Yeah. I do that during acting sometimes because I'm friends with the drummer. So,
Oh, cool!
And
You
he
should always be friends with the drummer, no doubt.
he
about it.
practices a lot because his mom is one of the band directors, so he's just like always practicing.